The best anime of all time. It seems like an easy question, right? We all have our favorites, but let's look at some of the most obvious entries for this lofty title. From Death Note and Sailor Moon to Naruto, Dragon Ball, and more, here is our list of the best anime of all time. This has to be one of the classic top-tier anime, a violent cyberpunk which helped introduce anime to the West. It had everything: a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, weird kids, paranormal overtones, and bikes. Lots and lots of bikes. You might need a philosophy degree to understand the subtle nuances of the film, but it is doubtless a must-watch for new fans, as well as a much-loved classic to older fans. Yes, the 90s was the decade of philosophical anime cyberpunk with the adventures of Motoko Kusanagi and Batou. This film, produced by Production IG, is both beautiful in its animation, but also has a haunting vocals of Kenji Kawai's Making of a Cyborg, which is now a classic anime theme. This was one of those series which adapted an already classic manga and just make it chef's kiss. Lights dance with L through the series, the apples, the intrigue. It was like watching Sherlock figuring out who the murderer was, but it's him all the long. There are some masterful episodes, and yes, the ending does fall a tad flat, but this is one anime that never gets old. For many girls, Sailor Moon was their first exposure to the magical girl genre. Not that Sailor Moon started it. Yes, the original 90s anime was lengthy, had filler episodes galore, and even entire arcs which weren't in the manga. Heck, most fans never saw Stars the final season legally due to its content, but Sailor Moon Crystal and the two sets of films, Eternal and Cosmos, finally allowed those adults to finish the saga. Yes, the storytelling might be questionable, but for many, it's pure nostalgia. Though not his first film, Your Name was Makoto Shinkai's breakout hit outside of Japan. His film about teenagers switching bodies and the devastating impact of a comet on the small town of Itomori introduced an anime which captivated the world. If Sailor Moon introduced the West to the magical girl genre, then Madoka Magica was the one which subverted it. Yes, it was all fun and games until episode 3, if you know you know. But for us, it's the uplifting notes of episode 12, when Madoka ascends to divinity as the law of cycles. The third film, Rebellion, gets an honorable mention here, with Walpurgis Night Rising next year. Most anime fans, when asked, will cite this film as their first Ghibli movie. Following the adventures of a young girl called Chihiro, who accidentally steps into a strange world of spirits, witches, and dragons, this film was the one entry which really exposed the world outside of Japan to Hayao Miyazaki, and heralded the golden age we now live in, where anime is global. Come on, admit it. We all wanted a Totoro growing up. If Ghibli is associated with Spirited Away as its breakout, then Totoro is the unofficial mascot of the studio, closely followed by the cat bus. Totoro is short. It's aimed firmly at a small human demographic, and yet it also manages to be an all-round family film. If not the best anime, then Naruto is one of those series which help make anime mainstream. Naruto is a brash young ninja with a very unique set of skills, and his journey with his friends and his legacy remains as one of the most popular shonen anime ever. See Naruto, but with the Dragon Balls. And the legendary Akira Toriyama. Technically, this also falls into the philosophical anime sub-theme, with its opening being the one song everyone is required by law in Japanese karaoke, or in our case, Taiko no Tatsujin. You might not know Japanese or understand what's going on with Shinji, but everyone knows the first line of Cruel Angel's thesis. Originally a light novel series, this fantasy tale about a broken woman who writes for those who can't comes from the much-beloved Kyoto animation, KyoAni, who turned a light novel into a beautiful, heart-wrenching story of Violet's quest to understand love. Yes, it's very recent, but Oshi no Ko is one of those anime which caused ripples. On the face, it's about a fan who's a gynecologist of all things, getting his dream reincarnation as Aquamarine, the son of his favorite idol, which is what Oshi means. Together with his twin sister, Ruby, Aqua has to figure out who murdered him and also who his and Ruby's father. The second season has ended and a third has just been announced. Frieren isn't just 2023's biggest hit, it's a meditation on time and humanity in the form of an elven mage. Frieren was a member of the party which killed the Demon King. Rather, her story starts decades later after her friends have died and she takes on a new apprentice, Fern. The series has been renewed for a second season, but even now, this is a good candidate for the best anime of the 2020s at least. As always, these are just suggestions. What's your favorite anime of all time? Is it on this list? The best sci-fi news and features this side of the Outer Rim. By entering your details, you are agreeing to our terms and conditions and privacy policy. You can unsubscribe at any time. This site is protected by reCAPTCHA and the Google privacy policy and terms of service apply. Check out more of our fantasy coverage or visit our TV guide and streaming guide to find out what's on. For more from the biggest stars in TV, listen to the Radio Times podcast.